Hello and welcome to another episode of All Sports Takes, where we're going to be going into our NFL Week 11 predictions. John, last week I went 10 and 4, you went 9 and 5. Our differential was the Texans versus the Jags. We talked a little about that in our Thursday night football predictions, which you guys can check out in the link below. But let's give some of the viewers a quick summary of how you felt about last week, John.
I felt pretty good. Only going down one game. Patriots took a dub against the Bucks. Huge game for us. So overall, good week of football for me. Couldn't complain. Went one in fantasy. So good week.
Okay. Well, without further ado, let's get straight into our predictions. We have a early game, Dolphins versus Commanders. This is set to be an interesting one. The Commanders obviously facing a lot of injuries, looking terrible, 3-7,
5 game losing streak.
5 game losing streak. The Dolphins, on the other hand, have been looking pretty solid, upset against the Bills. And if I might add, they have been looking good these past couple of weeks in the games they've lost. I know they played the Ravens, and that was a tough one, but they ended up beating the Falcons. They've been pretty inconsistent, but they were tight with the Chargers. I'm going to take the Dolphins to win this one 30-20. I don't know if it's an upset or not because of how many injuries there are for the Commanders and how they're out of playoff contention realistically, but I think it'd be crazy to not go with the Dolphins here.
Yeah, I don't know. The Dolphins have been mad inconsistent. I just feel like Tua could really be a horrible quarterback one week and then a great quarterback the next. Obviously, Commanders without Jane Daniels suffering from injuries. I think Deron Payne got suspended an extra game for punching Amon Ra. That's a huge hurt to the defense. I'm really tempted to pick the Commanders here, just the way the NFL has been going this season. I just feel like this could be an upset, but I really can't take that risk. I'm gonna pick the Dolphins here, 26-20. I think it's gonna be a one-score game. I think it will be close. But I gotta stick with the Dolphins. They've been looking really good, especially last week against the Bills.
Next, we have the Packers versus the Giants, and man, have the Packers been looking inconsistent. What happened to that offense is the question that we're all asking ourselves right about now. Jordan Love, where did you go, bro? Did you go back to Utah? Um, Giants, on the other hand, just fired Double, obviously. Pretty big firing, I would say. I feel bad for all these New York coaches. We talked about that earlier this week, how we feel that you're really just set to fail when you accept a job to be a New York coach. You look at Robert Saleh, him being at the 49ers now, and the success that he's having. But I was wondering who you got in this one, John.
Yeah, I mean, I could see an upset. Packers don't haven't been looking the best. Giants, I think Jackson Dart's back. I know he suffered a concussion,
I do
so
believe so.
if he does start, I think they definitely have a good chance to win this game. But if he doesn't start, there's no chance. But I'm gonna have to stick with the Packers here. Not gonna pick an upset here. I think it'll be a one-score game for sure. I like the way the Giants played last week against the Bears, almost pulling out a win. But I think the Packers get back on track here. I think Josh Jacobs could have a pretty good game. Um, I'll take the Packers for 20-13.
I overall just think that the Giants are, I mean, that the Bears are a pretty inconsistent team. They're not as good as people are saying, and that's why the Giants look so close in this one. I think the Packers aren't as good as people are saying. I think this NFC North is pretty overrated in general. I have the Packers barely squeaking out a win here, 20-17. Just can't bet against them. I mean, they're the better team in so many different ways. There's no way they choke it again, right? Next, we have the Texans versus the Titans. I'm gonna pick the Texans in this one. They've been looking pretty good, especially with Davis Mills. Whether CJ Stroud comes back or not, I think that they're gonna win this game, given how weak the Titans are. And we're gonna be looking at a Texans team that's 5-5, going into week 12, and that can make a push for a wild card spot.
Yeah, Texans have really come back in the past couple of weeks. Titans, I think they're coming off the bye this week. Doesn't really matter. They're still gonna lose. I don't really see them getting another win this whole season, maybe one, but I think the Texans team is super hot right now. Everyone's playing good. That defense is really good. Um, Again, more definitely gonna struggle. I'm gonna take the Texans here 25-15.
Next, we have the Panthers versus the Falcons, both two extremely inconsistent teams. I do believe that the Panthers last week lost to the Saints,
They did. They got upset by the Saints.
which is quite surprising to me since they were 5-4 going into this game. All they needed was a win to bring themselves to 6-4 to really put themselves in a playoff spot. I mean, what is going on with these Panthers? And the one thing that I can say about these Panthers is that they remind me of a certain young team that arose in 2021, Cincinnati Bengals, who would consistently win games they were not supposed to win and lose games they were supposed to win. I'm thinking of the Jets game and how the Bengals lost to the Jets a weekend after beating one of the best Ravens teams we've seen before. This is what this is reminding me of in the Packers. I think the Falcons need this win. They really need this win, don't they, John?
I
I
do.
am really, this is a really, really tough prediction for me. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this game, John?
You're gonna make your pick there. He's waiting to see who I pick. I'm pretty confident. I know the Falcons are super inconsistent. They had a close. They almost beat the Colts last week in an overtime thriller. And the Panthers, I know they're inconsistent team. I don't really know who's going to show up on Sunday. But I'm going to take the Falcons here. I think they'll be able to win this game. It's at home. I think Bijan could have a big game. And as long as Michael Penix just, doesn't have too many turnovers, plays consistently, I think they'll win the game here 27-20. I can say that sort of confidently. I think Andrew's going to take the Panthers here.
Um, I'm really struck on this game. I have written down on my paper right now. I have the Falcons written down on my paper. And I have them winning 30 to 27 in a really close one. But I really do want to pick the Panthers. I really do. I think that these inconsistent teams, they show up at the most unexpected times. But I can't ignore how bad this Panthers offense has been playing. And I think I should just go with my gut. Falcons offense has been playing well. Panthers offense hasn't. Generally, that's a recipe for a win for the Falcons. So I'm going to stick with what's on the paper. I have the Falcons winning this one 30 to 27.
Mm, I don't know. That was a hard game to pick there.
That was really hard. That was one of my hardest ones for this week. Some people might see that this game is a hard one, the Bears versus the Vikings, but I disagree. I think that the Bears are an extremely overrated team, and John is going to be picking the Bears in this one. I'm going to be picking the Vikings in this one, and I
Let's
like
go.
them winning 27 to 17. Um, the way I see it with the Vikings is that although the record isn't that good, they beat bad teams, and when they play a really good team, that's the games that they're losing. With the Bears, on the other hand, they beat an injured Giants team. They beat a team that doesn't have a defense. They beat the Saints, the Commanders without Jaden Daniels, I'm pretty sure. The Raiders with Geno Smith. I mean, the Bears, like, they're not that good of a team, guys. We can't get brainwashed by this team every single year. Every single year it happens. Vikings played pretty good against the Ravens, and we underestimate how hard it is to play in USA Bank Stadium in Minnesota. The skull is going to come. I like the Vikings winning this one.
I like that pick there, Andrew. Gives me a great differential here. I know the Bears don't have much of a defense, but to be honest, JJ McCarthy is not that good of a quarterback. Been saying it all year. I mean, like, look at his stats. You see him. He doesn't play good. They have a good defense. They have a good running game. Really bails them out. I know the Bears defense is atrocious, but I just really don't see the Vikings sweeping the Bears this year. I just don't see happening. I think the Bears have a lot of momentum. I think they're on a 2-3 game winning streak. Offense is looking good. So I'm going to be taking the Bears here to win this game 28-17. I can say that pretty confidently too.
Next, we have the Chargers versus the Jags, and I think that both of these teams have been really inconsistent. I'm not a fan of the Jags. Most of our listeners know that. So I'm going to pick the Chargers here, but in a really close game, 24-23.
Yeah, this is a pretty difficult game for me to pick. Both teams inconsistent, but I like the way the Chargers played against the Steelers last week and just the Jags pretty much folding the game against the Texans. So I'm going to be taking the Chargers here 30-25. Definitely a one-score game. I think it'll be good, but I think the Chargers will be able to pull this one out.
Next, we have the Bucks versus the Bills, and what is expecting to be a really good game. John, I know that you as a Patriots fan are really hoping the Bucks pull this one out. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, the Bills super inconsistent this year, beating the Chiefs, losing to the Dolphins. I really don't know what team's going to show up on Sunday. Bucks coming off a tough loss against the Patriots last week. I still think the Bucks have a lot of injuries, and that really hurt them in the game last week. I don't think they're getting too many players back this week, maybe one. Um, and I just feel like the Bills are going to lose a bad game, but they're going to come out the next week and they're going to win. So, and I don't see the Bills really losing this game. I think they're a good team. I'm going to take the Bills here 27-25, beating the Bucks. I know I've picked the Bucks in every game this year, but I really strongly believe the Bills will win this game. It's just in my gut. 27-25, close game. It's at home too.
So when I
And
was
Florida Florida teams don't play good in the cold, so
so when I was looking at this game, I was really leaning towards heavily towards the Bucks. Then I went and looked at the Bills' schedule. I looked at how inconsistent they are. And you look at how dominant they've been at home as of late. And I think that this game being at home, the Bucks obviously playing in cold weather, facing a lot of injuries. This would be a Bucks kind of game to win, but I just can't go against the Bills here. This is a must-win game for themselves to stay into this division, and I know they like being the high seed. Being at home means so much to them. I have the Bills winning this one, 30-20. Next, we have the Bengals going into Pittsburgh against the Steelers. John, I'll go first here.
as you should.
Bengals are coming off a bye. We have some optimism in the air as our boy Joe Burrow is practicing again. He's walking around on that foot. And I just want to point something out for you. Joe Burrow said in his press conference that the Bengals are still in this playoff race because of how bad our division is. We're still in this division. Really, and I hate to say this, if we win our next three games, no matter what, we are going to be on top of the division. That is crazy to say because we'd be defeating the Steelers. We'd be 4-0 in the division. Will we do it? I don't know. But I do know that the Steelers team has looked really bad, that their offense has looked really bad. This Bengals defense coming off the bye, so much scrutiny. This is going to be the best the Bengals defense will play all year. Coming off this bye, they're hungry. They're hungry to prove people wrong. Bengals are going to win this game 24-20. This defense is going to shock some people. I think Joe Flacco may struggle a little bit in this game. And I actually think that the Steelers are only going to get 13 points on offense. I like the Steelers getting a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown in this game. But the Bengals are going to win this one.
Yeah, I actually took a lot of time picking this game. I looked back at the previous matchup they had where the Bengals won an absolute shootout, 33-31. It was a great game to watch. And this was a hard game for me to pick. I think the Steelers have really declined as the season has gone on. They're a really old team. I think their players are suffering. They're getting tired. They're getting old, and I think their performance has just declined as most times the Steelers do as the season goes on. And I think the Bengals offense is still going to be good. I have no doubt they're going to put up points. Obviously, I don't know how that defense is going to play, but I just think last time if I picked the Bengals, which I did, I can't pick the Bengals this time. So I'm going to take them here 30-27. I think it will be a shootout. I think it will be a good game, another great game with the old heads. But I'm going to take the Bengals here, probably a walk-off field goal. Maybe the Steelers miss a field goal. Aaron Rodgers throws a game-losing interception. I can see any of this happening.
Next, we have the 49ers versus the Cardinals. I have the 49ers winning this one. I just think that the Cardinals have too many injuries. 49ers have looked pretty solid as of late. Obviously, a tough game against the Rams, but I like them winning this one, 30-20.
Yeah, I just can't be picking against the 49ers, especially when they're playing the Cards here. I'm gonna take them 23-19. I think it will be a close game though.
Next, we have the Seahawks versus the Rams and what is going to be the game of the week. Wow. This is going to be a great game, I think. Seahawks are going to win this game 37-34. I like it in a shootout. Absolute shootout in LA, perfect conditions. Seahawks have just looked too freaking dominant, bro. They look way too good. Nobody's messing with them. I know that the Rams are coming off a big win, but man, have these Seahawks. They just look like they're a whole nother level of football right now from what I've seen.
Yeah, I know Seahawks offense has looked unstoppable, but the Rams offense has also looked unstoppable. Rams are playing at home. This game will be a shootout, no doubt. But I'm gonna stick with the Rams here.
Yep. I
34-31.
like that.
I think it's gonna be a shootout. I just think the Seahawks have played too many good teams. They're just piling up these points against shitty
Whoa.
teams, which
Well, that's not true.
all right, look at the schedule, bro.
I
Look at the schedule, bro.
I'm looking at the
I'm gonna
schedule.
I'm looking at the schedule too, bro.
I'm looking at the schedule right now, and context is key. That game against the Commanders was a prime time game where Jaden Daniels was back, and they put 35 points up in the first half.
Yeah,
The
but the Commanders
Texans,
defense isn't good.
the
It's
Texans
like
have had an amazing defense. They put 35 points up against the Bucks when the Bucks were in their prime.
yeah, but they didn't win though. Like you can't say that.
Just saying, Seahawks.
I'm just saying they haven't had a really the hardest schedule. I mean, they literally lost to the 49ers.
And I
Um,
felt the exact same way about the Patriots, and they somehow beat the Bucks last week.
I think the Rams are overall a better team personally, more well-rounded. I
Yeah,
think
that's
they've
true.
played harder opponents, and I'm just gonna take them. It's just a gut feeling. I think Matthew Stafford, he's just a clutch quarterback. He's gonna have a clutch drive and he's gonna be able to pull out the game here against the Seahawks. 34-31. Hey, no doubt it's gonna be a shootout. It's gonna be a good game. And I'm really excited to watch it, but I truly believe the Rams will pull this one out.
Next, we have the Chiefs versus the Broncos in Mile High. Broncos are 8-2. Chiefs are 5-4. This seems like a must-win for the Chiefs, and the Broncos, I hate to say it, they haven't been looking good as of late. They have not been looking good. Barely beat the Raiders, barely beat the Texans. This offense has been looking like crap. I'm picking the Chiefs to win this one. I know that the Broncos have been looking unstoppable at home, and they always put up points when you least expect them to. But I got the Chiefs winning this one, 20-17. This is a must-win game. Patrick Mahomes is too good in must-win games.
Yeah, Chiefs are also coming off the bye here. I think Andy Reid's lost one game off the bye in his whole career. I think the Chiefs, I mean, I'm not counting them out personally, even if the record is 5-4. I think they can beat any team in the NFL on any day of the week. Broncos haven't been looking good. Offense is struggling. I mean, they lost PS2. He's out for about 3 more weeks. They don't have him. Chiefs got Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce. I just think it's going to be unstoppable for the Broncos. So I'm going to take the Chiefs here, 24-20. Pretty confident pick for me.
Next, we have the Ravens versus the Browns. I got the Ravens 30-17. Much
Yeah, I
more.
got the right. Yeah, Ravens here of 30-14.
Next, we have the Lions versus the Eagles, and this is looking like a great game. I'm curious who you have in this Sunday night football game, John.
Yeah, this is looking like a good game. Eagles not looking the best against the Packers on Monday Night Football. Lions offense has been looking strong. For me, I'm just picking the Lions here straight up. I think they're better team. I think they've been looking better, more consistent. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles offense really struggles in this game. The Eagles defense also really struggles. I think the Lions just have too many playmakers, and I just can't see the Eagles defense stopping this Lions offense. So I'm gonna take the Lions here 34-25.
You want to talk about inconsistency? Let's talk about the Lions. I mean, they lost to the Vikings. Anyway, I have the Lions beating the Eagles in this one. I think that their offense is gonna be too much. They're gonna score way many more points than the Eagles offense has. Eagles offense has been looking terrible. That Monday Night Football game, I mean, what was that? 10-7. What the heck was that, John? This game is in Philadelphia. Eagles are pretty good in Philadelphia, but Lions, I think they're gonna get the job done. Monday Night Football, Cowboys versus Raiders. Raiders are the worst team in the league. I get the Cowboys winning 27-17.
Yeah, Cowboys 36-20.
What are we doing with that Monday Night Football game, NFL?
No shitter.
Anyway, we have two differentials, the Hawks versus the Rams and the Bears versus the Vikings. I'm feeling like we might go 1-1 this week, maybe 2-0. I could see either of us going 2-0 in this one.
I could really see anything happening, to be honest. I would say I think 1-1 is most likely, though.
I'm really confident in this Vikings Bears game though.
I'm so confident in the Bears, dude.
I'm gonna at my boy Cash Banks. You're not gonna have a good weekend, buddy.
Shout out Cash Banks for being a Bears fan. You're gonna have a great weekend. Great
Uh,
weekend.
anyway, thank you guys for watching as always. We hope you enjoyed our week 11 predictions, and we will see you for Thursday Night Football, week 12, in our next video.
Yes, sir.
Deuces.
Deuce.